never,
ever
go into business with friends
or family.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. It's your girl Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to deliver content to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notification so you can be notified when we're dropping gems just like this.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. As you can see, we went with a festive background. We're sorry if it glitches a little bit like that. But yeah, we wanted to try something
fun. Couple stockings, not sure what those stockings are for, but hey ho. All right, so today we are going to be talking about why you should never ever go into business with friends or family.
And as you know, we've started a business, and starting a business is super easy, but maintaining a business is where the hard work comes into play. So yeah, let's kick it off.
Cool. So the reason we're saying this, and we're going to get into, you're going to see where we're going with this, but we've all heard it before, people saying you shouldn't do business with friends and family, multiple reasons. What I've done, I've just got 5 reasons that kind of stood out to me. So I've taken off entrepreneur.com and they listed 25 reasons of why not to. But these 5 I thought would best probably for us to talk about, especially on the journey we're going on, and then we'll go talk about some do's and don'ts. So number 1, the relationship changes forever. It's true, it doesn't become the same. There's multiple stories of people falling out, especially over money. Oh my God, over money. And you know, it's sad because you fall over a business decision, and that now could potentially affect your whole, that's it. We can't even be friends at that point, which is a real shame. Yeah,
that's I think money is a key one, and I think that's where a lot of issues will come into play. It doesn't matter if that's in business or just in your normal life, whether it's work or whatever.
100%.
But yeah, man, definitely.
100%. Number 2, they may not be the best qualified. And that's so true. So like they say, in order to move forward, you want to surround yourself with people who have the skills, the expertise and certain things to move you forward. And like they always say, always hire people smarter than you are. And your family or friends don't always guarantee that they're going to be the highest qualified for that role. And, you know, I want to do that role. I want to take that position. And it just might not be suited to take the business forward. It might get you to a certain point. So, for example, if we look at Amazon, I know that Jeff Bezos' his ex-wife, she was actually like their financial officer at one point just to get it started. But of course, she knew in her mind, but she's a smart businesswoman herself. She wasn't going to take that on. But imagine she wouldn't want to let that go. No, this is my position. I'm doing it. But she doesn't have a background in that. She's not run a business, in that sort of role. But some people would find it hard to let go and could probably get quite emotional about the fact that you've now said, sorry, we need to find someone better.
I genuinely think that there's a different dynamic about going into business with somebody and then employing friends and family. And I think when you employ friends and family, that's when things are going to get a little bit sticky, because when you go into business with someone, like for example, we go into business with somebody, we have a vision for Be Limitless, but we will know when we need to hire somebody to take us to the next level. 100%. And they will be better than myself, probably better than Carly, suited in that position. And another thing is Gymshark, so Ben Francis. So this is not friends and family, but he is the CEO of Gymshark. But he removed himself from a CEO position and hired a CEO for the company. Can you imagine? You're the owner of the business and you hire someone to do that position because he got his business to however many hundreds of thousands or whatever. He's never ran a multi-million pound business.
Exactly.
Understand? Like there's levels to this.
100%. And that leads nicely on to number 3, which is they expect extra freedoms. So if you, like you're saying, if you're employing somebody, they can take advantage, the extra time off, being late, leaving early, presume they have a level of authority, which can cause friction within the workforce as well. So that's another risk. And then also on employment is emotions. Now imagine you've got a performance manage somebody, have a performance conversation with your
auntie
or sister. You're too slow. Could you imagine? And they will take it personal. And you know, anyone that isn't, okay, fair enough, you give them coaching, but unfortunately because of that relationship, they tend to probably take things a bit more personally.
Yeah, man, facts. That's facts.
And then the last one, which I really liked, is you're more likely to work without a contract. Because you're friends, we don't need one. And this one I thought was brilliant. You know, you've got to protect both parties in this whole situation. You've got to think like, you know, starting a business and things like that. If something happens, both of your finances are looked at. So you've got to make sure who you're going into business with is trustworthy. You've got to know your places. So there's two YouTubers that I watch who I don't just accidentally stumbled across, but watching their videos, they started as friends, but they're now in a relationship together. But even from the start to now, they always talk about it. They have a contract for every new venture they get into. They've got a contract, and it's just there to protect each other. Simple as that. And I thought that was a brilliant one.
So yeah, I'll touch on that a bit more as I go through the key do's and don'ts. So the first one is communication. The first do is communication, and communicate often. Silence breeds confusion, and I think this is super key. You need to understand that when you go into business, there's going to be ups and downs. So you need to be on the same page, especially when you're going into business with somebody. And like you just said about having a contract, one thing that we did from the very, and I trust Carly with my life. Probably the only probably the only person that I truly trust. However, you need to make sure that the business is set up properly. We went and registered our business and put it 50-50 straight from the get-go. If at any point Carly takes over more and I drop off a little bit, or vice versa, if we want to adjust that, we'll adjust it, or we'll put a contract in place, so on and so forth. Also, you might have a partnership where somebody is like the face of the business, running around doing a lot of the stuff, where somebody else is putting the money in. And so you just need to know, like, are you like, and it goes on to my second one, is establishing roles at the beginning of it. Who is doing what? What are you in charge of? What am I in charge of? What's your key strengths? What's my strengths? Where does our passion lie? Because at the same time, we've still got goals and everything for our business as well, right? So, for example, when we look at our business, or so far like our YouTube channel, Carly, you do the editing. That's something that you're good at. You enjoy it, I hope. And I do more of the social media stuff because I don't mind doing it, but you don't like doing it, right? So we kind of are starting to establish where we are. When we did our journal, for example, you had your clear role, I had my clear role. Do you get what I'm saying? And one thing I will say about going back to what you just said on challenging and performance review, I think 2022 we will start to challenge each other a little bit more, because okay, you said you were going to do X, you didn't do it, and at the minute, because we're friends and whatnot, we'll say, oh, don't worry, like I'll catch up, or I'll do this, I'll do that. But when we start to elevate, we need to make sure that we've got those core structure and processes in place, because Amazon, we always talk about Amazon because we work there, so we see what they've been able to achieve. They didn't achieve that by being laxy-daisy and
exactly.
Letting people just get away with whatever.
Exactly.
So some of the don'ts, and I think you touch on some of these as well, is don't just start a business because you like each other. You get what I'm saying? Like, just because you're friends, it doesn't mean that maybe the dynamic might change. And like, it will be interesting to see how our dynamic is when we're actually in an office and we have like our own building and we're actually going to work. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't think it will change. I think that we've been friends for so long, like we know each other pretty well. But you need to know that you can actually potentially spend a lot of time with that person. Do you get what I'm saying?
Good point.
Number 2 is don't make assumptions about each other's goals and commitments to the business. So this is something that we do often. We recheck in to make sure that we're still aligned on the vision of where we're going. sometimes I'm probably, probably me. Sometimes I'm like, hold on a minute, what are we trying to do here? Like, let me just like get it back in my mind so that I know that I'm on the same page as you and vice versa. And one of the things that this guy, Alex Moen, co-founder of Matchmade Coffee, suggests that both parties need to be in alignment about prioritizing that business as well. So, for example, we both work full-time at Amazon, and it's not like your regular hours. We may work later to get something done, and there's time constraints. But in 2022, we'll definitely clearly define what can we put in. If you can only put 5 hours in, and I can only put 5 hours in, that's fine. But what we're going to do in that time. So it's just making sure that you're on that same page 100%. And you know where you're going. Number 3, and I think this is key, whether you're going into business with someone or whether you're employing your friends and family, don't mix personal and business matters. That is so important. If something goes wrong in the business, don't take it into your friendship. Yeah. And if something is going on in between you guys, like as in your relationship, don't bring it into the business. Do you get 100%. What I'm saying? Don't mix the two, because long before, and this is the final one, don't forget that you were friends or family before you were business partners, and make sure that you're always nurturing your friendship outside of the business.
Exactly. I think they're brilliant. And like, you know, obviously we're saying about never do it, but ultimately we wanted to talk about this because, as Beck said, we are friends and have been friends for a long time. And we know there's other people probably toying with it. And it's not to say never at all. It's just making sure you're both very clear on expectations, roles and responsibility, time commitments, etc., in order to make that successful. And on that note, we've got some examples of some businesses who have been started by friends or partners and have gone on to be successful.
Yeah, so I've just gone with 2. Haven't got too much detail on them, but Airbnb was actually started by 3 close friends, which was interesting. I didn't know that. And so was Ben and Jerry. So they were both friends since the 7th grade. So there's loads and loads of others. And we put that title to hook people in, we'll be honest. But really, I'm an advocate for going into business with friends and family if Absolutely. You can clearly define where you're going.
Perfect. And on that, so I had Airbnb and Ben and Jerry's actually, and what I liked about Airbnb was what they said here. So while I lived with Joe, I came to appreciate 2 things about him. He worked just as hard as I did, and his skills complemented mine. I have the technical abilities and he had the creative design skills. So what I liked about him saying that, this is the whole thing, knowing what each other likes and is good at, complementing it and making it work. You can't both be the finance person and both be this and both be that. Like, figure out what you're good at. And like Beck said, I can't stand it because I don't get social media. I'm a granny when it comes to social media. I just about to remember to put hashtags on things. So that's not my forte. Bex is a lot better at it, understands it better, and likes to go in and read stuff about it. So that's what she focuses on. So, and there's a loads of other things we do behind the scenes as well. But just in general, we made a very easy split in terms of the videos and what we're posting. Yes, I will help out with content for it, but in terms of putting it out there, that's Bex's job. So I thought that was a really, really good piece there. A couple others I've got on businesses. So I think it's pronounced Ali-O. It's a recruitment company. Then Crazy Coupon Lady, that was again started by 2 friends. Joe Malone, which is fragrance company. That's actually a husband and wife.
Really?
Who's had that. Yeah, I didn't know that. So, and what she says is Gary is actually the brains behind the business, though it's named after her. Gary's the brains behind it. And then Stella McCartney. So Stella McCartney and Alistair Willis. There you go. And now look at Stella McCartney, massive brand, absolutely huge brand.
It's actually, I know somebody, they're bodybuilders, right? I went to school with this girl, and then she's with her husband. So they pushed the business, like it's called Strong and Sexy, but they've rebranded it this year to add him into the mix, and they've just rebranded it to Strong. And like it's really interesting because as much as she has been the face of the business, he's been like the brains and the content. You can tell like the content creation and the editing and all this type of stuff of what she's putting out. but now they've come together and now they'll put out stuff together and they got like revamped their app and stuff. It's flipping sick, bro. Honestly.
I'd have to have a look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
But there you go. Sometimes you don't know that and what goes on behind the scenes. And yes, like you say, sometimes someone isn't the face of it, but actually, again, their skills, they understand who's good at what, and then they make it work for them. Yeah.
And the thing is, if it doesn't work, don't let it impact your relationship. Just say it didn't work. Do you get what I'm saying? If someone got burnt or something like that, you know what? This is business at the end of the day. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you. But if it doesn't work, just leave it where it is and continue. Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly. One thing though, wasn't it Facebook though? Someone tapped out of it, a friend, and then it went on to be huge. And you just think, oh man, why didn't I stay on board?
Literally,
I'd kick myself daily.
But that's the point. Making sure that you're in it together and you've got the vision big enough, like you both know, like boom, this could take 10 years, but let's know. And not just both, it could be a group of you, right? But this is the vision. We're not going to stop until we get there. Unless we're absolutely bankrupt, then
absolutely.
God forbid. God forbid.
Tapping out.
But yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. Thank you so much for tuning in. We wish you a very Merry Christmas. We'll be back in time for New Year's. That's the end of this episode. I've been your girl, Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. Have an absolutely wonderful Christmas, and we will see you next week.
Peace.